The central focus of the new budget cuts is money and what will be done with it. We at Blog Preston went to speak to local financial advisor Mike Partins from Bailey Financial Services. He talked to us about what impact these cuts would have on him and what help local businesses can expect to receive. What would you say your main concerns are regarding the spending cuts?
Well, the spending cuts will affect the UK in different ways. Those on lower incomes will be affected by cuts in benefits and things like that. Those at the higher income end of the spectrum will face higher tax charges perhaps. So the different elements that are involved across UK society will have different concerns, and we will have to advise people accordingly on that, depending on how they are impacted eventually by how the cuts filter down to them at the basic level.
And how do you think these cuts are going to affect your clients?
Well, as I said in the previous answer, it will affect people differently. So people at the lower end of the spectrum will have to look at how the cuts to benefits, for example, will affect them. It will also affect people looking at job security and things like that. So people will become more interested in savings. Our higher income earners will be looking at the impact of taxation. But across the board, everyone relies on public services, so some elements of cuts will affect people in their daily lives, so we have to be sensitive to that and advise accordingly.
And what aspect of the spending cuts do you think will have the worst or the biggest impact?
I think the proposals for the welfare state will have the biggest impact across the economy as a whole. We have a relatively bloated welfare state now, which has developed over the past few years, perhaps 10 years or so. So there are certainly savings that can be made there in terms of efficiency, in terms of waste. There are big proposals there. I think more vulnerable elements of society will be slightly concerned, and we'll have to see how that plays out.
And as a financial advisor, do you think that George Osborne has made the right cuts?
Absolutely. It will depend upon how we see the cuts playing out into the economy and how deep the cuts are in certain areas, but certainly what we needed to do is face the music really, and these cuts are essential. If Labour were in power, they would have to do exactly the same thing. Perhaps they would have raised more revenue from taxes, for example. The Tories are looking more at public spending cuts, but we have to do something because the implications of not doing something are more drastic. So it'll be a period of austerity, but hopefully a return to more prosperous times afterwards.
Brilliant. And just finally, what advice could you give to small or local businesses and your own clients with regards to the cuts?
We'd be recommending obviously that they take professional financial advice. We deal with people on a daily basis, and we provide them with financial plans and strategies. Those things will change over time as the economy changes and different things come into their lives. So really it's a question of hand-holding and making sure that people are perfectly ready for the different vagaries of government proposals.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.